Hi everyone, it's me, Crafty Witch. I've created a list here of 30 prompts for your grimoire, your book of shadows, your magical journals. I want to kind of power through them because I ramble lots, and I've done another video and it died halfway through. Well, it didn't, my phone didn't die, but I ran out of memory. So I'll try to keep the chit chat fairly minimal, and if there's anything in here that upsets you or you don't agree with, you don't need to incorporate it. You can just bypass it. Take what you can, use what you can, leave the rest. So these are all just prompts, random prompts. Number 1, define the difference between a pet versus a familiar. Are they the same to you? Why or why not? Number 2, use modern day games as a form of divination. So this could be like the game Boggle or Scrabble or crossword games or search a word games or whatever the case might be. Use that as a form of divination and document your results. I think that's personally a fun way to do some divination. Number 3, herbal birth control methods, the pros, the cons, the risks. You can include the history. Women have been using herbs and roots and all that kind of stuff for hundreds, if not thousands of years to regulate their menstrual flow, to prevent unwanted pregnancies, as well as to abort unwanted pregnancies. It's something that women have used and is a part of their history and has been for hundreds of years. That may be something you may want to include in your magical book, maybe not. Number 4, what are your views on using items such as blood, urine, sweat, semen, tears, vaginal fluid, etc. in magic? Is it something you do? Why or why not? Number 5, what are your views on using animal parts in magic, such as feathers and bones, organs, fur, skin, that kind of thing? Are there any substitutions for those things that you can incorporate into your magical practice? Why or why not? Number 6, list your family tree. Number 7, list your family history and any lore associated with your family. Maybe you had, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, and a great-great-grandmother that they were all midwives. Maybe you have 5 generations of military service in your family, so you have that really strong kind of warrior energy in your DNA. Maybe you have an aunt who reads palms. Who knows? But document your family lore in your family history. You can document things like where your family originated from. If you got a DNA test, did you find out anything surprising? All that kind of stuff. Number 8, document local lore. By this, I mean, is there any lore in your current location or where you grew up that is significant? Maybe you grew up somewhere where they have standing stones not too far away, or a healing spring, or a medicine wheel, or anything like that. Document that. Number 9, death preparations and protocol for wakes and funerals and offerings, body preparation, and funeral rites. And number 10, birth preparations and rites. Some people, they save the little umbilical cord once it falls off, and they use that in a ceremony. Some people use the placenta in a ceremony. Some people eat the placenta. I don't recommend doing that, but that's your own thing if that's what you'd want to do. Number 11, rites of passage for males and females. It could be coming of age ceremonies. It could be becoming a mother or a father or an aunt or a grandparent. The croning aspect, which is something I'm going through currently. So there's all different kinds of rites of passage that you can document if it's part of your tradition or your practice. Why or why not? Or maybe if it's not part, is it something you want to include? Number 12, views on gender and sexuality and how it influences your magical or spiritual work, if at all. 13, views on various beings such as angels and demons, mer people, unicorns, mythical or magical, whether it's dragons, etc. Number 14, have you experienced divine intervention at all? And by this I mean where you know without a shadow of a doubt something somewhere like saved your ass. You know, have you ever had like such a close call that you're like, oh my god, I could have died, like, and this is for real, legit, like your toes and your fingers went numb. I'm talking about like, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, somewhere somebody intervened on your behalf, some unseen something or other saved your butt. Number 15, do you incorporate ancestral magic into your practice? Why or why not? For some people who might be adopted or who maybe come from families where they experienced abuse, family magic, ancestral magic, they might feel really disconnected with that, and it might even bother them. But you can incorporate very ancient ancestral magic into your practice if you so choose. Like, I'm talking like go back to caveman days kind of thing. Number 16, is or are there any rules or dogma or traditions about your path that you disagree with or that doesn't sit right with you? Explain what that is. Has it resulted in you adapting your practice in any way, shape, or form? Number 17, what is your favorite form of sympathetic magic? Number 18, pick an animal or insect, etc., that terrifies you. Now this is working with your shadow side. So you pick an animal or an insect or whatever it is that you have a major phobia of. And if you don't have any phobias of anything, pick something that just annoys you then. For me, I can think of something that I am like absolutely terrified of. Then study it. Learn about its role in the cycle of life and any cultural or spiritual or magical properties it has, any connections to any deities, gods, goddesses, that kind of thing. And then write a ritual honoring that shadow teacher or that shadow guide. Perform it and then record your results. Number 19, document your least favorite season and why. And then magically, what could this season be teaching you? Again, that shadow guide or that shadow teacher. Maybe it's something you're avoiding within yourself. 20, what are your own gifts spiritually or magically speaking? Do you know what they are? If not, figure it out. 21, do you have any magical tattoos or piercings that you regularly use in your work? A lot of times people will get, symbols tattooed or whatever, and they might have magical meaning, but they don't necessarily incorporate that into their magical working on a regular basis. Is that something you can start doing? Number 22, dreamtime magic, including lucid dreaming. Number 23, make your own pendulum and pendulum board and record the results. 24, pick a mundane chore. It could be doing dishes, vacuuming, etc. Something that you absolutely dislike. Again, now we're working with the shadow side. Now create a magical ritual or spell that incorporates that task that you really dislike. Incorporate it in a way where it's a spiritual type of practice. Again, document your results. Does your mind, do your opinions about that then change any? Number 25, create an altar inside of your Book of Shadows. Mod Podge images for a goddess and a god, for the elements, for any tools, and create something that you can open up on, your Book of Shadows, and on both pages is basically a ready-made altar with images that are already on place. Number 26, what are your views on possession and exorcisms? 27, research various types of little folk. Do you have any favorites? Why? And have you already worked with them? Number 28, portal magic, mirrors and between and betwixt. times and places. Any experiences working with that? 29. Your favorite, or wait a minute here. What's your views of the afterlife? And what do you call it? Do you call it heaven, Avalon, the happy hunting grounds, Valhalla, Nirvana, etc.? What do you call it? What are your views about it? Your opinions, your thoughts? And 30. What is sacrilegious to you? Do you have any spiritual no-nos or taboos that certain lines you just will not cross, or certain things that you're like, nah, this is wrong? And is that dogma? Is it propaganda? Is it your own thoughts, or is it something you've learned or were taught to view as being wrong by others? So how original are those judgments that you're making about whatever that no-no is? Is it something that you just feel deep inside your heart that is absolutely no, this is wrong? Or is it something that you were taught either by books you've read, by other people influencing you, media, whatever the case might be? So those are my 30 prompts for your Book of Shadows, your grimoire, your magical journal. Some of them are controversial, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, take what you can, leave the rest. So that's it for now. Ciao.